Alright, let's get back on these videos. Set SUMARI Dark Arts once again. 89th video, I believe. Alright, so the last video, we jumped on this whole Papa Legba deal, right? And there's a lot of comments going on in the comment section on that last video. Now, let's continue on that a little bit. So we went into the whole, at least I went into the whole deal on what Papa Legba was to me and making itself known. But here comes the next part of that. And this is not speaking, this is about Papa Legba and about pretty much all deities that we've come to understand through history and through, cultural differences and things across the globe that, each different culture has their own pantheon of gods, deities, whatever they may be. But at the end of the day, what or who are these individuals, these entity forms that take place? Oh shit, the throat is starting. You know what that means. Information's about to be good. Yeah, man. Now, you guys can't lose focus, right? Because it's like, even though, see, I think by now, most of the viewers that I have understand where I'm coming from. Like, if you're new and you're just jumping on now, you might be like, well, I don't understand because last video he said this, but now he's saying something different. He's contradicting himself. I'm unsubscribing. But you have to be, most of my viewers are pretty open-minded already and know the directions that I take. But if you're new, you just gotta, if you want to stick around and hit up those other videos and you know where I'm coming from. So even though I had contact with this Papa Legba entity and many others through time, illusions of time and space, I know what it really is. See, now I know in the last video I said that this entity is much older and it's not what people think it is. Now let me elaborate on that a bit, because I know a lot of people may have seen, well, damn, what's he talking about? And what I meant was, it's much older than, see, check this out, right? You have these entities, right? So you say, okay, for example, you say Papa Legba's known, he has a top hat, or he has a hat, he has a cane, he has his pipe, or you look at other deities and things people believe in, this is what they look like. But if you think of time, right? And being that by now we all know that time and space are basically illusions that are broken down to limited understanding because we have to live in a three-dimensional reality. I'm not saying that you can't transcend that, but as long as we're here, we have to be stuck on there's a lot of things limited that we have to deal with. And you have to consider this, right? If this entity, how long have these entities been along? Any of them, I don't care what it is, whatever you believe in that you're connecting with, here's some things to consider. One, how long have they been in existence, right? And two, the image that you're getting, how old is the image that they're appearing in? See, this is why I went into in the last video that a lot of things will make contact with you, you yourself will project upon them. And you will see them due to an understanding that you have of what's possible or what's probable in your system of reality. So if you see, for example, a black man or older black man, even though we know there's no colors, but if you see an older African American or African gentleman or anyone that just seems from that, specific stereotype with a top hat and a cane and he's hanging out by crossroads, I seriously doubt that, one, if that's the image, the original image, then that means that we're dealing with a new god or a new spirit, because real roads, crossroads, as far as like what we consider crossroads today, top hats, canes, that's pretty modern. That's all new stuff that's just been coming around for the past couple hundred years, right? maybe longer. So you have to think, what was the entity's form before that image took place and hold within the psyche of, the population and individuals that see it that way? You know, these are some things to consider, because it could be limiting, right? It's like whatever you see, you're gonna project upon it what you believe is acceptable. So I said before, like, if you were a devout Christian, you're not gonna get Muhammad, the prophet. You're not going to get a Papa Legba. You might get some of its corresponding entities that may do similar things or may match up with that. But once again, all those images, it's like, what were they? How were they viewed before that? See, energy's old, man, like real old. But at the same time, a lot of you guys, you still fail to understand, right? Besides all this stuff that I'm talking about, you are just as old as these things that you worship. And the entities, and when I say entity, this includes you as well. You have been around longer than, we've all been here before the earth was even in existence. Before this planet was ever even thought up and manifested, we were alive somewhere. Now that's up to you. Where were you? Where were you? What were you doing? What was going on? That's a completely subjective matter. That's up for you to meditate on, and you go through your own thoughts, feelings, and processes, and you figure it out. I know where I was. A lot of other people know where they were. But I know this sounds crazy, right? Because you're saying, well, I don't know, man. This is a bit of a stretch. You're talking about other realities, other this, other that. I may have said this in the past, but I'll just say it again, man. Like, you don't need to get all, cosmic to talk about other realities. Alternate universes, parallel worlds, wormholes. You don't need to get all that deep in it, man. The person sitting next to you on the train is a physical manifestation of a parallel universe. The person sitting in front of you on the bus is a physical manifestation of an alternate reality, a parallel universe. Why do I say that? Because even though you guys are sitting parallel to each other or, side by side to each other, your two worlds are so drastically different that it seems unbelievable to even consider yourselves within the same, space in that moment point, because mentally, and remember what I said in the past, your mental reality is your true reality. So, you could be sitting right next to me, and you and we're on far different places mentally, man. Like, I'm on another universe, and you're sitting in your office worrying about, what happened today at 12 o'clock and what this boss said to you, or you're projecting into a future, or what's going to happen next week at that meeting, or when I meet my girl or my man, this is what's going to go down. So at all times, right? At all times, everyone is in their own parallel world that's parallel to this one. And everyone's creating their own alternate universe constantly. The thing is, right, it happens so smoothly, the transition is so smooth that we don't even accept it as that. We don't even realize what's going on, that we're manifesting our own realities while we're still within this one. So we think nothing's going on, or we think, oh, I'm just thinking, I'm just having some thoughts, random thoughts, but you're actually manifesting our realities, right? So, yeah, man, these are just a lot of things for you guys to think about. If you do worship, if you do, ancestral work, or working with spirits, or whatever it is, to each his own. I'm not criticizing anybody. We all have our ways how to deal with what we're dealing with. But just some food for thought. Just consider this, right? What if all of us are working with the same energy, and we're just calling it by different names, different titles, and we're dressing it up due to cultural um, things that have been accepted culturally within specific cultures, and that's how we paint the picture on top of what has always been in existence. So, I've said this many times, and I'll always say it, that all these things that you worship, you really worship in yourself. See, even though I understand, like, even though I had that Papa Legba experience, that doesn't mean that now I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna jump on the Papa Legba bandwagon like a lot of people do and start, oh, I'm working with Legba, and Legba said this to me. I understand. See, I understand that Legba energy is just an extension of myself. So it's another portion of me. It's another portion of all of us. I'm not saying that it's mind specific. There's another portion of all of us, and it has its own existence and its reality. But all these things, we're all one, man. Like, I know we heard this many times. We're all one. I know it sounds like some ABC special shit, but at the end of the day, it really is like that, because you take all that is, right, also known as God by many. You take all that is into consideration, and all that is basically has manifested itself into every possible reality. That includes us. We come along with that. So we have a tendency, and a lot of this has to do because we're in a physical reality, man. So, because we believe we're so limited in this reality, we tend to work with dualities and breaking things down and compartmentalizing everything into, A, B, and C. And we've been doing that so long that we've lost complete connection with our own power. These things that manifest, these abilities, these entities, and all these things that people say that they're working with, or they got spooked, or something came at them, or they, was called to work with something. It's all you, man. I mean, I'm laughing because, like, I've said this so many times, and I know I'm gonna have to just say it forever, because there's always gonna be people saying, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And you guys are gonna have to really, like, start breaking boundaries, man. Like, a lot of you on the right track, and you guys know who you are because we spoke in private, either through messages and things. But a lot of you have a lot of work to do, man, because it's like a lot of guys, right, or women, I'm just saying guys in general, I mean individuals, a lot of guys have the habit of, like, I've said this many times, they're like, yeah, I understand, we're all this, we're all one, we're multi-dimensional, I create my reality, but this other person said that this is how it is. I'm gonna say this right now, man, and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't care what somebody else told you how it is, and you're questioning me on. Well, this is what they said, so what do you think? I want to know what you think, man. It's all about what do you believe, and this is where it all comes down to. It's like the power. I don't care what comes after you. I don't care if Jesus Christ manifested in front of you tonight as you were on your knees doing an Our Father. It's still an extension of your own power, man. Nothing's coming at you unless you're calling it to you or you're creating it, man. It's like you have all this power. Oh, man. This reality makes me laugh, man, because it's like, I understand, the big joke is like, what is the secret? What is the big joke, man? And the big joke is that pretty much you can do whatever you want. Nobody's really limiting you. Nobody's holding you back. Yeah, you might have some individuals that might be like, oh, well, they try to block you from advancing in life. But if that's happening, if you feel you're being limited, then the question is, do you still want to stick around in that paradigm? Whatever it is, I don't care whatever it is, whether it's a job or a certain type of anything. If you feel that this one person has control over you, or they're limiting you and they're stopping you from growing, the question is, why are you still taking part in that fucking reality, man? You need to step off and go another route, or you manifest your own reality. Because right now, you're trying to get in with somebody else's reality. And that's why they're pulling the strings and making you do the fucking honky-tonk dance. And, who was that? That was a wrestler, I think. The honky-tonk dance. Whatever, man. Back in WWF days. Anyway. Yeah, they're pulling the strings, man. And got you jumping around. So you got to question, who's the puppet master? And how long do you want your strings pulled? Or do you want to create your own play and do your own thing, man? That's what it's all about. all this stuff that's going on outside, man, in the world, it's all bullshit, man. I mean, it really is. You turn the news today, the president said this, or this prime minister of this country said that, and it's like, it's just, oh, God, man. I had an epiphany the other day. That's right, I said epiphany. I was sitting down, I was looking at, the TV was on, and, I was in my own headspace, and I already know this, but at some points, it's like, just crystal clear. And I felt the need to talk about it, man. we are living literally, and I don't want to say metaphorically or figuratively. I'm calling it literally. We are literally living in a fake reality. I mean, there's so many things going on that we class as this is real. This is the reality. None of this shit's real, man. None of it is. It's all. We live in a reality where you're given choices, right? So you have freedom of choice. Some countries don't because they have their own, maybe a dictator or communist or whatever. But, most of us are given this illusion that we have a choice. And we do and we don't. Now, let me get on the don't part first. You don't have a choice because basically it's all laid out before you even get here. It's like, well, you have freedom of choice within choice A, B, and C, which has already been pre-selected way before you even came onto the scene and decided to even enter physical reality. So when you get here, a lot of people feel limited. They feel limited because the decisions that are being given to them are pre-selected. So they're not real choices. You're given a choice of A, B, C, and D from what we decided are the official line of choices, So it's like, as Seth always said, from the Seth material with Jane Roberts, you can't be afraid to step out of the official line of consciousness. That is the only way you're going to see the whole picture. And this applies to my talk on Papa Legba and the gods and spirits and all these things, man. When you step out of the official line of consciousness, you see things for what they really are. You see the energy for what it really is, an extension of yourself, just manifested and going its own way. And that's the lesson, that you should go your own way. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to. If you want to, you can't work with certain energies and certain beliefs if you don't want to. That's what makes it all fun, man. You could do whatever you want. You want to work with Papa Legba, you work with Papa Legba. You want to work with Zeus, Hades, Ares, Seth, whatever, Osiris, Ra, it's whatever you want, man. And that's the whole thing. See, spirits, energies, forces, gods, they all represent a bigger understanding. And I think most individuals on the planet do not have the understanding and the lesson. And the lesson that comes with all these individual entities, or at least the personifications of them, is that they went their own way. And that's the lesson, man, that you should go your own way. Personify, immortalize yourself, How did they get to become where they were? How did that energy become so powerful and so known that there's people centuries after, hundreds of thousands of years after, that still celebrate them and acknowledge them and give them tribute? How did they reach that point? That's the real question. And can you do the same to yourself? You have to immortalize yourself by accepting your own multidimensionality and your own immortality, So, when you look at these things, or you look up to them, or you worship them, start questioning and here, man, what is going on? What is this thing that I'm giving tribute to? What is this thing that I'm worshiping? What is this thing that I'm giving all this respect to or giving sacrifice to? Because basically, if you don't understand that, let's say, for you got some god or deity or whatever that you want to give tribute to, if you don't understand that that's just an extension of yourself and you're giving tribute to yourself, you got a lot of work to do, man, because you're still searching for this higher power outside of yourself, man. they say that, well, only God can judge me. Only God knows what's going on. Only God can say, you know, I'm trying to say, a lot of people say that only God can judge. God doesn't want to judge. Because this is why we're here. We've been given this experience. We've been given the gifts of the gods, and I'm not the first to say that, but it's true. We have been given the gifts, man. You have the power to make or break any god, any deity, with a simple thought. You do it so smoothly and so quickly, you don't even realize it. It's like, today, when you were a kid, you may have believed in the power of Jesus Christ, you believe in God. By the time you hit high school, you're a full-blown Satanist. By the time you graduate high school, now you're an atheist. By the time you get to, from out of high school to university, now you're into, Taoism or Confucianism, or, now you want to be, Blue Joe, and now it's like, you're manifesting all these things left and right. You're just creating and breaking them, man. Destroying heaven with a thought and growing a hell in the same moment point, So it's like, it really comes down to, what do you want to do, But I got a few more minutes, so let me just get on this, right? I had an experience recently, a few days ago, and when I say experience, I mean a lesson. Remember, I'm still training too, guys, I got my own. It may seem like I know a lot of stuff, but I'm basically going through my own thing, and I'm growing. Somebody just came and stuff. But I'm going through my own stuff too, my own training, getting me ready for when I leave out of here. And part of that training is helping you guys get ready as well, to get ready for the next levels of your development, But it all comes down to getting prepared and shit, man, for what's to come, things to come. So, you guys know what time it is. It's time for a walk with Seth. Let me grab this. I need the iPad too, because I need to keep track of time. Going for a walk. That's the walk music. Yeah, man. Hey, what's up? All right. Yeah. If I got something in my teeth, that's because I was eating before. I apologize for that. All right, let's get in the hallway. What your brother said, man. All right, where are we? Da-da-da-da. All right. Okay, yeah, man. All right. Got a few more minutes. So check this out, right? I'll give you something to think about while, whatever. something to meditate on. So we have, so I had this experience, right? And it's basically a lesson. I was saying earlier that part of my lesson, when I'm in my training that I'm still going through, a part of that is helping you guys get ready for when you take off and leave out of here. I know, guys, people laugh. If you ain't hip to this shit, you just come in this video and go, oh, what is he talking about? But yo, you know how it is. People take off in this reality every day, man. Shit happens, things happen, accidents do happen sometimes, but a lot of people have already planned for when they're gonna take out of here and get going. And I said it before, if you ain't ready for none of this, you in for a shock, because the moment you get that last dealing death blow, whether it be your last breath in the hospital or that car that comes out of nowhere, you gonna wake up in a moment from that flash and end up in another reality. And if you don't know what's going on, you're gonna be wishing you was listening to your brother said over here. Anyway, so the lesson I learned, right, was this dream experience, and I was completely conscious, and I'm gonna have to cut this down and make it more simplified, because I can't get into the details. It was a long ass experience. That'd be like 2:30 in the morning and shit. But anyway, so the moral of the story was, the lesson was that the war in heaven was the war within. Now, I know you guys saying, what are y'all talking about, man? What's this guy talking? He's fucking crazy. Yo, the war in heaven. You have this war in heaven, right? You have Satan or Lucifer or whatever name you want to call him. You see the correlations, right? You have this, it seems rebellion seems to be a constant theme in a lot of the great religions of the world. You had, Lucifer, the sun, the shining star, going against his father, raising up all, his other brothers and sisters in this great massive war against heaven. Then you come down to Egypt. You have Set, who was on the sun barge, protecting, Ra and, guiding him through the skies to fight against Apep and to keep this darkness at bay. And at some point, even he was like, fuck this, man. I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm too big for this, man. I should be doing something else. He rebelled. But look at the constant theme, rebellion. What is this symbolic of? Was there an actual war in heaven? Did the actual Egyptian god Set rebel against, his other fellow brothers and sister gods? What was really going on? And what it comes down to is, it's symbolic. Symbolic on one level and actual on another. Actual in the fact that these things actually did take place because we've put so much energy into it. They actually have happened, and they're still happening all the time. And it would change, the stories would change as time goes on, right? So, but to simplify things for a bit, it all comes down to the individual wanting to go its own way. So you have everyone saying, this is how it is, you have this heaven scenario, right? And it's all great. Just follow what Dad says. Just do what, has to be done. Don't be different. Don't be an individual. No thought. Just follow the plan. And you get this character that says, man, fuck this, man. I want to do my own shit. I'm tired of doing it. This is lame. I want to get out. I want to explore. I want to create my own things. Same thing in Egypt. Set didn't want to follow his routine anymore. He figured, I'm doing all the heavy lifting. You guys are sitting around on your asses. And then you treating me like, the stepchild and shit, man. So all of this comes from within, man. We're dealing with the same thing now. So that story of the gods, right? And there are many other stories of the gods. You guys can look them up, do your own research, and find what's interesting to you. But there is a general theme of rebellion. So rebellion, what it actually means, and that rebellious energy has continued through the ages. It keeps going. There's always going to be that concept of the rebel. Now these days, the idea of a rebel, at one level it's been glorified and idolized, rebellion, rock and roll, anarchy, and all that shit. But on the other level, it's demonized. Oh, this guy's a troublemaker. He's trying to cause trouble. And what it really comes down to is individuality. You have individuals that refuse to be subjugated, refuse to be, boxed in to specific categories, And I'm talking about you, many of you who are watching this. You're on this channel now because you're tired of being labeled. You're tired of being put into categories. You're tired of being put into skin colors and boxes and, oh, he's black. No, he's Asian. He's white. He's gay. She's a lesbian. All these fucking boxes that society wants to trap you within. See, society, I said this before, the coach is not your friend, man, but I was way back. But anyway, society likes labels because once you get labeled, they know how to deal with you. This is why you have to be, this is where you got to go multi-dimensional when they ask us, man. You got to be completely outside the box. You got to be the trickster of your world because, see, when you're a trickster, right? When I say trickster, I don't mean going out just doing dumb shit to be funny. But you take everything as a joke. You live life. See, because when you're a trickster, nobody likes the trickster because he seems, amoral. He just can't follow rules. Why can't this guy just fit in and do what he's supposed to do? Because the trickster represents individuality and spontaneity, materialized and personificated and stuff, man. So it's like, you can't hold down the trickster. You can't hold down the multidimensional being. You can't hold down the soul because it's too free. It will not be put into boxes. Once you accept the box, Once you accept the category, you accept the label, you're defining the limitations of your own consciousness, and other people know how to deal with you at that point. Oh, I'm proud to be gay. All right, well, this guy's gay, so we know how to deal with him. We're going to do this, this, and that. If we want to get this person pissed off, we're going to say these words, push those button, call him a queer, call him a fag. He's going to get pissed. Oh, I'm proud to be black. All right, this person's black. All right, we know how to trigger them, how to get them set off. Call this person a Negro. Say you people, say this, this, and that. That'll set them off, you know. Oh, white power. All right, this person's a white person, you know. All right, so they believe in white power. So all we got to do is tell them. They're easy. Just tell them some shit about, you know, that we're all one and we're all equal, and they're gonna flip this shit and go out and probably try to kill someone. These are just samples I'm giving, but important ones for you to think about. When you accept the labels and you define yourself by them, other people know how to fuck with you and how to come at you and how to deal with you. Now, I know you're gonna say, well, wait a minute, you're using a label too. You're calling yourself a SUMARI and a set and all that. True, but that definition for me is unlimited. You know, and I said it before, those are just names I'm giving you guys, man. You know, SUMARI, set, dark arts, all that shit. You know, it's just names. They don't mean anything. I mean, they mean something on a level of identification because we make videos in this reality, we need names. But I'm giving you names that you could work by so you could free yourself from those other limitations. You don't have to call yourself any of that. Make up your own names, man. That's what it's all about. You make your own reality, man. You know, I choose specific words and names because they have a purpose for them to catch a certain audience and trigger certain things in people's minds and pull them in. But I know what I'm doing. Many of you don't know what you're doing, you know. So get with the program, man. You know, don't label yourself. Always be above. Step outside the box. Step outside your comfort zone. Be unpredictable at times. Don't fall within a routine, mundane lifestyle of mental thinking. You have to transcend all that. I gotta get out of here, man. I got like a minute. I gotta get back to class. But there's just some stuff for you guys to think about. Remember that. Remember what we talked about. We talked about a lot. I don't even know what I was talking about, but the war within, the war in heaven, or the war in, you know, war of the gods, the gods battling on Olympus and all that stuff. All of this are just symbols of the war within yourself and the war within the individual consciousness, breaking through barriers to be individual and manifest itself so it can manifest its own reality. I keep looking down as I'm checking the clock. But yeah, that's it, man. Well, we're coming up on 32. I gotta get out of here. But remember everything I said, man. Remember all of it. All the gods, spirits, deities, all these things that you look forward, they're just extensions of yourself. Don't forget that. Now, Seth's got to get out of here because I got some people I got to teach. But class will be back in session another day. Think about what I told you guys. Take care.